Hi, RegularEVdad here, John. I hope you're having a great day. Well, look, the title says it all. We lost 50% of our battery. A little bit clickbaity, but it actually happened. Let me explain very quickly, and then you can watch the rest of the video and possibly learn something. This was day 2 of our road trip. By the way, if you've not seen day 1, then here's the playlist of the road trip and everything else. Day 2 was from Salt Lake City all the way to Lexington, Nebraska through Denver, Colorado, because obviously Wyoming is allergic to fast charging from anyone other than Tesla. Anywho, we charged up at Green River. It wasn't the best cup of coffee. I kind of say it was, but I was drinking Nancy's and I didn't realize at the time. And as we're leaving, a few minutes after leaving Green River, we noticed our state of charge just plummeting. And I'm seriously, we went from 71% to 25% in 31 minutes. You think, oh, well, you just got a lead foot. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds. They were gusting. We thought that might be it. But no, this was a fault with the car. It was falling so quickly. In fact, let me show you that data right now. We need to understand is that we only traveled 20.5 miles during this piece with an elevation change of 700 feet. I think I can put that in here as well. You want further proof that this was an issue? It came back. We didn't go down a hill to do this. In fact, we went from 25% to 55.5% in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. There was no DC fast charger in the middle of nowhere at the side of the road. This was a major glitch with the system. What you're also going to see, because we happen to be recording this, all happened as I'm recording my coming out of the charger. In fact, I was late doing it because I'd overfilled a memory card. Well, overfilled it. I had to dump a memory card to do this. And yeah, this was happening while I was recording, and so you pretty much get to see the whole situation in real time. There's timestamps in the camera, and you're going to see, just look at the minute, ignore the hours because I didn't change the time zone, but just look at the minutes and you'll see what's going on. So why am I posting this? Well, first of all, there's a happy ending. Well, not happy, it's still unresolved, but we made it. It took longer. I got less sleep. I did share this with a member of the leadership team from Electrify America, and they did escalate this. The initial response was, well, everything seems to be fine, and we didn't have a real choice because I just had to get to Chicago and then get to New York. If we'd have to have dumped everything into a gas car or a van, then I would have done. But this is as it was. This is the third version of this video because yesterday Volkswagen got in touch, and the car will be going in for analysis. I will post an update on what, if anything, they find. But what I'm sharing with you right now are the log files that come from the car via EV Notify and the BMS system, which shows both the actual charge and also the displayed charge. There's a 10% or so difference. It's on a curve. So when your thing gets done, when you get the yellow thing at 20%, it's actually 22 in the BMS. There's a little bit of extra margin in there. This happened in real time. This was a concern. This is Green River to Colorado, to Grand Junction, Colorado. This is one of the most desolate parts of the continental United States. So I would say enjoy the video. That doesn't seem quite a thing. We didn't enjoy the experience, but you're going to see how they dealt with it in real time. The SOS system didn't work, the phone numbers didn't work, the support didn't work, the dealership, as of today, sorry, still hasn't been in touch. But the reason I'm recording this is because, same as I did with the DC fast charger emergency release, so people know how to do that, because I needed to Google, I Googled it and didn't find the answer. This is like knowing how to change a belt with a pair of tights. This is about knowing how to use a puncture repair kit in the middle. This is just stuff as a man, as a dad, as a human being, you just need to know, because you need to be able to take care of yourself to a certain before AAA gets involved, or, you know, life as a whole. Look, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Watch the rest of the video. Most of this will not be in the video I post this weekend for episode 2 of the actual road trip, because I don't want a 10-hour trip to be a 2-hour video. But other than that, I'm going to stay with you, and I'll let you know what's going on in my head along the way. If you have questions, Put them in the comments field. Be too happy to answer. Be safe.
Well, we're leaving Green River. Great cup of coffee. Took a while to get it, so we significantly overcharged. We're leaving with 69.4%. 70 makes no difference. So where we're going to end up charging now is Glenwood. In I don't know how many miles that is. No, not Glenwood. Well, this is going to Sam's Club Electrify America. I'm guessing that's Grand Junction. Honestly, don't know at this point. We're just following blindly following a better route planner's guidance because it's been so good. But I think we're missing a stop. We're going to get in with 13%. It's going to be up, down, and I'm driving again because I'm horrible to Nancy. This is the one section of driving which I just wanted to do. It's my inner petrol head that's not quite dead yet. So I just wanted to experience this. We're gonna keep our speed up. Hopefully, traffic's not going to be an issue, and it's kind of exciting to actually be at. You'll see this from the site review I did. There'll be a link. Find it in the site review playlist. It's kind of exciting to be at Green River because that was such an important piece to the Electrify America infrastructure. That was the golden spike at Promontory in Utah. Essentially, it joined up the two halves of the country. So this is it's kind of cool. I know it's geeky cool. But I'm a geek. I can be cool. I can have $6 t-shirts. Alright, almost to somewhere. I'm going to let you know where somewhere is. Enjoy the scenery. We're going to. Yesterday I said, the adventure so far really was lacking any real adventure. There was no daring do, no... Yeah. So that just changed. Now, as you're aware, we've been following a better route planner zealously. And it told us to leave. And we kept charging a bit longer because it took a while to get the coffee. And we may be grateful for that. Because we're dealing with pretty strong winds. We have head and crosswind at 20 miles an hour, according to Windy, and also to the 24 mile an hour winds. But we have 71 miles on the GOM and 94 miles to the charger. And a better route planner is suggesting that we're going to come in at 5%. Now, there is a lot of downhill. So at this point, we have a choice. I can go back to Green River and put another 10-15 minutes of charging, plus travel time now. It's going to be 24 minutes of change. Or we slow down to 60 miles an hour. We're not doing that. Or there is the off-route charger at Moab. Now it's I haven't even looked at the map. I'll be looking at it probably pretty soon. But this is where we're going to test the efficiency because we've got a lot of downhill. We'll see how much regen we get out of this, but we've got a lot of uphill as well in 70 miles. And the whole thing, it's uphill into Grand Junction. And we've got this wind. And the GOM's just dropped to 66. So we may be going to Moab. We'll let you know. So all joking aside, and this is going to require serious thinking, and I'll put screenshots in from this point right now into the video. But I was just checking. The wind is strong. I think it's more than 20 miles an hour, and the reason I'm saying that is we left Green River with 70% state of charge.
So at this point, I haven't worked out exactly what's going on. I'm still thinking, wow, I mean, it's 20-mile wind. What if it's gusting to 40? Could that be what's causing this? I'm not doing the calculations of 70% of battery, 77 kilowatt battery, down by 20% and 2.8 kilowatts. No, I'm thinking, we might have to slide in behind a semi and draft for the next 60 miles. See where this goes.
The GOM's dropped to 63. We've only gone 8 miles. We've lost 20% of the battery in 8 miles, and I was not doing 100. I was doing 70. So right now we're getting 1.9 miles per kilowatt. So this is going to be, I'm going to check on Moab, because now there's a question. If this wind keeps up, Moab is some distance off. It's 48 miles, and it's a bit of a turnoff. I mean, I'm grateful that we've got some adventure in this, but this wasn't the planned adventure. Thompson Springs. Moab is...
So just so you know, I'm not playing with the phone and doing this. I've got PlugShare running on Android Auto, and I can see all the CCS chargers within 50 miles. Plus, I looked at going to Moab on a different trip, so I know where it is, just in case you think I carry a mental map of all the CCS chargers in the country. I don't. I can barely find my car keys most of the time.
Apparently, it's where all the Rivian 50 kilowatt charger, but it's pretty off-piste. And then we'd have to come back up through Cisco, which looks like a pretty as hell drive, but
so it's great for me watching this after the fact. You just saw me look down, see EV notify, and see another major chunk of our battery has just gone.
You're going to see the data, and you're going to see the drop-off we have. We're now down at 46%, just while I'm talking. 1.7 miles per kilowatt hour is what we're pulling right now. I almost feel like I'm driving with the parking brake on. This is a serious issue. The wind is strong, I can feel it, and we are pretty much face on. Well,
so you're watching me work out. Do I need to? Is it the strength of the wind? Am I too heavy with my foot? I'll get there. I will get there.
Yeah. Let you know what happens. We aren't turning off for a while, so whatever happens, the decision will be made at the next turn-off. See you there. So we're just a few miles since we last spoke. The GOM's at 53. The battery's at 35. It continues to fall. We are...
I know what you're thinking. He's remarkably calm given what's going on. Hold on.
Going at... We're now at 4 miles. We're going downhill. We're at 4 miles per kilowatt hour. But we have a 600 feet climb to come. So it's 80 miles to 80 miles.
So in a few seconds, you're going to hear the app go doo-doo. And that's a better route planner saying, drop your speed now to 14 miles an hour, you moron. You're going to get stuck here. I'm still trying to work out if we're now facing 40, 60, 70. I'm trying to wonder why we're not recreating the Wizard of Oz at this point. And it doesn't actually seem to be that windy.
84 miles to the Electrify America, or with a 30-mile south diversion, we go to Moab. Because at this point, this wind is not going to be any different doing this again, driving back. So the speed is 60. It's just come on and said maximum of 45 miles an hour. Even now on the flat, we're at 2.5, 2.3. Yeah. This is real. This is happening. So, John, what contingencies did you make? Well, before I went to Klamath, I ordered my charge point card in case I didn't have connectivity in Lead, because we're so used to using the apps to do these things, and they don't always work where we go. So, we're going to go to Moab, and then we're going to drive through a national park, which was not the plan, and it's going to be a pretty long charge. It's just come up and said reduce speed to 40.
Notice at this point, Luna the dog is very, very calm. She always is. She's an old soul.
It's not messing around. I'm going to hit the alternative buttons and see. It can't plan an alternative. So we're going to Moab, and we're going to deep charge at 50 kilowatts. The dogs are going to play in the park. Apparently, according to the reviews, there are food trucks.
Yes, all those years in military intelligence are suddenly paying off. If we're going to have to do this, we're going to need a grilled cheese sandwich or carnitas.
But it's beautiful out here. So here's the situation. We just pulled off into the rest stop. The wind is strong. It's over 30 miles an hour. It's gusting to 40 according to Windy. It seems to be more of a crosswind, but it is nailing us 16 different ways through sunshine. So our current plan is to drive relatively slowly down to Moab. I've always wanted to go to Moab. I didn't want to go to Moab today. This was not the plan. But if we go back to Green River, deep charge, even to 100%, and then go back, we're going to have the same wind. Moab, we're going to be into the wind, but dropping into it. Like I said, we're going off-piste now. And then we're going to go to take 128 back up to Cisco. So this is a interesting situation. We lost... It says since our last charge, we've been doing 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, but we've only done 21 miles.
What's that? The light has gone on. By God, Giorgio, I think he's got it!
Average speed of 43 in 30 minutes, and we lost. So I'm going to stop recording right now, and I want to tell you what's going on. 24% of my battery pack just came back. My battery pack went from 24 to 49.9 while I'm recording this. This is coming from the BMS, from Electrify America.
Yeah, we may have had a few issues with Electrify America, but this isn't their particular issue. The app that's giving us this data is EV Notify. We've had our issues with Electrify America. We all remember Winnemucca. But... this is all EV Notify, a free app that's giving us this amazing data. Please buy that man a coffee. Please.
So now we're going to find out what happens when we call the SOS number. We'll come back to you.
power or we've lost power?
The emergency call cannot be made.
I thought I stopped recording, but you know this to be real. Let's just do that one more time.
The emergency call cannot be made.
Can't see the phone number. When it comes up on there.
The emergency call cannot be made.
No, don't touch it. You gotta just get the number. 1833.
The emergency call cannot be made.
1292.
Quality Assurance. Para servicio en español, por favor presione el número 2. This call may be monitored or recorded for quality purposes. VW Climate Response Center, this is Marilyn. How can I help you?
Marilyn, I have an interesting one for you. I'm driving across the country. I just charged up at Green River, Utah, to 70% of my battery. As I came out, I literally went down to 24% of my battery in 21 miles at 40 miles per hour. Yes, it's windy, but I have an app that's tied into the BMS that told me the battery was down at 24. That was bad enough. We were making contingency plans to drop into Moab and deep charge at a 50 kilowatt there. And the reason I'm calling you is my battery just went from 24% to 57.5%, i.e. half my battery disappeared and then came back.
So it's my mistake. I thought there was some kind of advanced telematics support system. No.
Okay, so this is definitely the service department at the dealership. Did you give them a call already?
Ma'am, I didn't want to call somebody who didn't know what they were doing.
Okay, this is VW CarNet. You're calling the CarNet department. Is this something to do with your VW CarNet app or the actual car?
The actual car.
Okay, so that's definitely a dealership. The dealership that sold you the vehicle. I would call the service department and let them know that you're having an issue with the battery in the actual vehicle and it's not, it's doing what it's doing. I would notify them and they'll let you know exactly what to do.
All right, ma'am. So just to be clear about this, and just for the sake of it, I am recording this. Your advice is I call a company that only just started selling electric company cars, who doesn't have anybody that's certified, who is also 1,500 miles away, and you definitely think they're the right people to talk to.
Well, it definitely isn't. You don't have to speak to that specific VW. I mean, if you have a closer VW department, service department that you want to speak to, you definitely can.
Ow.
But when it comes to this ID4, and it's not...
Please understand, I'm British. That means I will say sorry before starting most sentences, but it also means that when I'm under stress, sarcasm does become a default. It's a coping mechanism.
Because once again, this is VW CarNet. If it doesn't have anything to do with your VW CarNet app, I'm unable to help.
I understand. It's my fault. I pressed the SOS button, which also didn't do anything, but it brought up this number as the number to call in an
It might be different to me. Perhaps when an app fails you, first thing you do is hit the SOS button. I hit the SOS button thinking that might have something to do with support for the vehicle that the SOS button was in, and not an app. But I've made mistakes before.
I get it. That was my mistake. It is what it is, ma'am.
No, not a problem.
We'll just roll with it. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so
you have a great day.
Now, at this point, you would do well to imagine that I am coming forth with a verbiage of profanity that wouldn't just rival Gordon Ramsay, it would be the Churchillian version of it with a lexicon spanning 16,000 rude words. But the camera's on, and so I'm just going to maintain my composure and be nice about it. I still have that ability. Trust me.
You also, sir, be safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Just so time mark for myself, I didn't change my watch, it's 12:17. It is, just so you know, from a real-time point of view, since we charged, that's the time frame we have, it's 44 minutes since we charged, according to the billing information from Electrify America, to 70%. I will put screenshots from EV Notify into the edit. We dropped to 24% state of charge in 20 miles of change. Windy's telling us there's wind, 30 to 40 miles gusts, and by the way, you'll see in the other thing, if we got a shot, there was a truck on its side. It's windy. I called the SOS. That's not working. We'll come back to that point. I called the number that came on screen. You can hear the conversation. I didn't warn them it was being recorded. I didn't ask permission, but it happened. I'm not calling my guy in Dublin because I was the first car they had. I need to know to call somebody who knows what they're doing, not somebody who has to call a guy. While I'm talking to her, we watched it go to 50%. Now we're watching it going up again. It's up to 71.2. So we've done 205 miles, but right now what it's saying, since charge, the data we have, we've covered 28 miles at 38 miles per hour average speed in 45 minutes with an average consumption of 2.2. And we have more charge in the system than we had when we left. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but if we left at 70%, according to the BMS, which, goes to Electrify America, if we left at 70%, yeah, we had downhill, but we were positive. It's one of them things. I'll come back to you and let you know what's going on. 12:29. Sorry, Dublin, Volkswagen. I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but I called your service department. It went to voicemail. I called Brian in parts because I figured he'd know the guy to go and tap on the shoulder. Went to voicemail. I called the sales department. They put me through to a different voicemail. So I've done what Carnet told me to do and call my dealer, which I already said was a waste of time. Respectfully, I'm in Denver, I'm trying to get to Denver. By the way, just for things, we're now at 67.2 and the GOM is showing 142. We're keeping 65 cruise control. My first focus is take care of our guys in the back and make sure we get to Grand Junction. So, now we make a different call. Let's see what happens. It's 12:50. Let's just say very frustrated right now. And I think justifiably so. We've been conserving energy because we don't know what's going on. We're done doing that now because we're just losing time. I mean, we're not going to get in until 1 o'clock in the morning. We have to be out by 7. Things are going to get bad. Things might as well just get worse. So, plan, if you can call it that. I just put a call into Volkswagen dealership in Grand Junction. I just want to say the service manager I spoke to was incredibly nice and incredibly helpful and incredibly transparent. His service tech is doing the ID4 training today in Denver. Well, we just need to get towards Denver. If we end up having to ditch this and put everything into a gas car, we will, because we got to get to Chicago. So we're going to put the hammer back down. We're doing the speed limit again. Hopefully this was a one-time software glitch. This will be documented, and I will be forwarding this information to Volkswagen as soon as I can. But my dealer, waste of time. Sorry, not available. I know you got other things, other customers. It is what it is. We have contingencies. Current plan is head towards Chicago, head towards Denver, and we'll be aware of what's happened. But I'm glad I had the notify. We'll have the log. We'll share this with whoever. And didn't need the drama. Well, this is a short update. We are currently at 38.4 state of charge. It is 1:30 in the afternoon. The reason I'm doing this is because we're just grabbing something to eat, a pre-ordered takeaway meal for efficiency, ironically. Going to do a micro charge here at Grand Junction. Literally just going to hit it up till it hits the ramp, so we've got enough to get to wherever we're going to go to next, to Glenwood Springs. And now it's going to be rip and run at maximum speed to try and make up as much time as we can, because we don't have a huge amount of slack. We expect to get into Chicago at midnight, and we both have things to do at 7 a.m. the next morning. So, this lack of this extra driving time is a lack of sleep time. This is a real issue. So we're going to keep an eye on the situation. We hope it's not going to happen again. We'll share the information, we'll share the data, and hope that will solve a problem again in the future. But other than that, the changes now from hey, isn't this fun? This is great. We're having so much fun, to a hammer down, boy, hammer down. Let's go. All right, eastbound and down. See you in Glenwood Springs. I'm afraid there will not be a site review at Grand Junction. We'll have to do it on the way back. Be safe. We're trying to be. It is just coming up on 5:02, and normally we don't care about the time, but we do, because we are still nearly 11 hours from our stop tonight. We're going to get in after 1 a.m. And the issue with that is, if I haven't already said, and with all the confusion and I may have done, but we don't get our sleep time back. We have to drive through the day tomorrow to Chicago, and we need that early, long run if we're going to miss some stops, or miss at least one stop to get 220 miles, 230 miles under our belt before we stop. So, like I said, the plan now is rip and run. Boys and girls with 4 legs have been told you are time limited to 13 minutes for peas and poops. And it's just hell for leather now. I'm hoping that the advantageous charging profile that we had yesterday comes back to us today. As it currently lies, we've got 85 miles to go to Glenwood Springs, I believe. 85 miles. We are traveling with a 47% state of charge. We will come in at 7%. How long did we charge at Grand Junction? The exact same length of time it took me to eat a burger, no napkin. That is why men have hairy arms. We are nature's napkins. Sorry, darling, I will shower before I see you. I have no idea what they will be. So, eastbound and down, baby. That's our only choices at this point. Is we just got to go for it and be more disciplined, and probably not much time for antiquing.
Maybe on the way back.
See you in Glenwood Springs. Data will be inserted. Be safe.
Well, that's the end of our video. We're alive. I'm re-recording the ending because, as you know from the beginning, the car will go into the dealership. Volkswagen are going to investigate it and take a look, and I will share an update on what they find. Let me just talk briefly about the experience. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. I'm not good with humility. It's not part of my, sadly, natural set. But what is part of my makeup and what I do professionally is I'm the guy who in a crisis. I keep calm, sarcastic but calm. I'm a security professional, and I train people to embrace the fire, to run into it, not away from it, and I try and live that life myself. And you can only do that with calmness. Sure, sarcasm is a coping mechanism, but you do it with calmness, and you keep a lid on emotions and you deal with the situation. Nothing gets better by screaming or flipping out. No one's going to help you because you just have to. This sucked. This created a lot of questions in my mind at that moment. And still love the car. We drove to New York and back and put 10,000 miles on this thing in 2 months. That's the most I've ever driven in that kind of period of time. And I wouldn't change it in a heartbeat. I do want to get resolution on this issue, and I want to make sure that others don't have this issue. But yeah, I hope you found this useful. I hope you'll consider buying a Bluetooth dongle. I'm not going to provide a link to one. Well, actually, you know what? I will provide a link, but I won't receive any commissions. This is the one I use. Please, the EV Notify app. It really only works on Android. If you're using iPhone, you have to have particular things going. I'm sorry, I'm not a Steve Jobs acolyte. But it has value. Knowing your situation is often the best way of being able to resolve it. With that, if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Please ask questions in the comments and I'll reply to them. And stand by for some more great content from the rest of this road trip and more than that and more to follow. Above all, be safe.